Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching Glenda's Dragon's Den. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for being here every week and for sharing and hitting the like button and subscribing. Now, for those that do not know, my subscriptions are free, so you don't have to worry about any money. So just go and subscribe so you could get notification of any and all podcasts, healing sessions, channeling sessions that I do. Um, and again, thank you for being here. And of course, we welcome any questions. Enjoy the chat, talk among yourselves, discuss different views, and just have fun. All of our guests, like usual, descriptions, links, etc., is going to be in the description of this event, and you can look them up, especially Caroline Kennedy, today's guest, and you can look up all of her items, whether it be her LinkedIn or her books, etc., etc. With that being said, welcome, Caroline. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Glenda. I thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for coming on. It's my pleasure, and I always say that the more thought provoking we could take this to, the better it is. And your story is unique, and I can't wait for my audience to really hear it about it and feel part of your journey. So I do apologize today. I may have a scratchy throat, but we'll go through that. It's allergies, I'm sure. So Caroline, tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got here.
I got here through spiritual awakening journey that took me from realizing myself as one who can become awakened and then to tap into the reservoir of the divine that I am, awaken the body. So there was a daily practice where I would spend a few hours to for things to accumulate and then to release them through different patterns. More of what would look like Pilates. Some of it was yogic postures, but a lot of it was using the hands and the feet. So that happened around the awakening start mostly around 2012, where I took care of myself very well. I took very good care of my body and my lifestyle. And I had a deep knowing that if I do meditation daily, it would take me somewhere. So I triggered the elemental nature of my body to release the karmic field. So the karmic field around me is my life force and whatever I had encountered in my life to release those things. So that as I surrendered daily to the divine, I accepted the responsibility of having my physical body be actualized in a way that I can have a reverence for what is divinity. So as I'm doing that, I don't want to go back too far because divine means sacredness. And sacredness means as we accumulate different karmic fields, we have to clear them. So in my own gift as the divine flowing through me, others can say it's an enlightened soul because enlightenment means you're still a student and it's a continuous journey. So, as the enlightened one that I am, I choose to call myself that because that's an easy way for others to understand that the journey to awakening takes you to a place where you understand yourself in a different perspective, where you know yourself as being more in control of what the mind can do, because it's the thoughts that come that you control more. The thoughts no longer control you with your body. You're able to actualize the body with reverence, where I surrender. That is the most of what I can say. I surrender. So during my journey, I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things to get to the place that I am. So on completion of my journey in 2019, I had to face the shadows, and that is what some call facing the shadows of the soul, facing the shadows of the soul essence. And that was not easy for me to face those shadows because that is the ancestral realm that you're facing. And when my parents would have died when I was just a child, an infant, and then as a child, it was difficult to face those shadows. So I was able to overcome those things in many particular ways. And then as I surrender more, I was able to write the books. I wrote the books in quick succession. In a matter of like 2, 3 months. I wrote and allowed the publishing of 6 books. And then I started my healing with others. I have two daily healing circles, one at 11:30 a.m. So most of the people in that group are from India. These are professionals. Professionals means professors, scientists, doctors, and the regular people, engineer. So I do have a healing circle in the morning, which is in India, it's nighttime. So anyone would like to join that healing circle, you can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or on Facebook. So in my own essence as a divine, the gifts that I have, I bring sound healing. And the sound healing that I produce, it's the echo of the soul to heal what was there before, what was healed as patterns from the ancient times to now. So it is sound healing mostly done in different patterns. Sometimes it's in Sanskrit, sometimes it's in English, but the echo of what I bring through is to heal those that are ready for enlightenment. Those anyone can come, but when once you're ready for enlightenment, it clears the karmic field for you in a soft and gentle way. So each song pattern that I can bring with my voice, if you would allow me, I can just bring through a little sound pattern to give you a gist of what it means to be a healer using your voice with sound. So as you hear the echo of the voice that I bring, it is healing patterns that were there before that are coming back to heal. It can change the trajectory of the life force that we have. So if you would allow me, I bow to the divine that is you and I give grace to all that is listening. I challenge myself that in speaking today, many aspects of the soul compass that I have is being aligned to be a speaker. My gift is a speaker. I'm called to speak. In the reservoir of dignity that I have, I allow speaking to be there. And if there's any moment where I have to bring a voice rendition, it's going to come forth. The voice rendition is usually to heal the body because sound healing, the element of sound and the voice that we have is sacred. Each precious voice has its own soul note, and each soul has a different resonance of sound, and that is there to heal. It is there to heal the light that we are. We are the light of the soul. In our soul essence, we project much, much more when we speak. And when we speak with integrity, we allow that to be what it is. And I'm just going to bring in some song now. Sa sunatan tatata sununu ta sa na na tuna tuna. Ara sununu nanti tata tununu sa asana tuna tuna. Ira kubu nanti sata tununu ta sa suna suna suna. Imana tutu tutunu tununu taina suna suna suna. Ira suna suna minan tuna ina arana tuna tuna. Miyasu ina mina taina tukunu sana suna suna. Aina suna aina suna aina suna aina suna ura ina tana kunananta suna tanantana sunana miena suna suna. So that is one of the things that can clear the karmic field where as a gifted speaker, if there was nervousness before, a lot of people when they speak, there's nervousness that comes. There are triggers when you're triggered to speak, and if there is nervousness that arises. So in my own journey, I was gifted as a speaker sometimes, but when I'm ready to speak in front of a crowd,
Mhm.
nervousness would come first. Because I was a communication specialist with the United Nations before, so
Mhm.
nervousness sometimes would come when I have to speak in front of a crowd. So I was clearing the field with patterns that was there as nervousness before, and the nervousness were triggers to say that your excellence to speak will come better when you become enlightened. As you change the trajectory of your life and you become enlightened, you would know to soften the tone sometimes. Speak with integrity always. Allow others to know that when you're gifted to speak, you listen sometimes, you speak to others, but you make time to listen. What is it about my soul that is challenging me to say, today is a good day for me to speak to Glenda? Because we did have a podcast before. And
Mhm.
in that podcast, I was able to have the resonance to share it on Facebook, to share it on LinkedIn. And I was able to have a few people come to me to say, I like what you said, dear. I resonate with your truth. I feel more integrally connected to what you're saying. So when people can resonate with the sound of my voice, even the way I look doesn't matter so much than what I have to say, because when I project the image of who I am, there are different frequencies and time that come, and it can change the way that we look, depends on how it is projected. So today is a very sacred day for me because in my healing circle this morning, it went excellent. There's a lot of upgrades happening, as you know. There's a
Mhm.
lot of upgrades that is happening. So I'm at a place where I'm processing a lot of those upgrades. So speaking gives me the integrity to process it with a little bit more of decorum, we can say, because sometimes we process it with others in healing circle. And in my gifts, I have a lot of people who come to me for counseling. So speaking to you in this arena gives me another avenue to speak so that more people can find me as a gifted healer, as a counselor, as an author. So I deeply appreciate that. And I treasure this channel that you have where you're allowing healers to come and to share what they do so that others can reach them. It is your token, it is your gift to do what you do. It is your resonance to allow me to speak for a second time. And I deeply appreciate that. I treasure your inner goodness, Glenda, and I thank you for holding space with me. I thank you for the healing sessions that we had sometimes, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that, Glenda. So
Mhm.
there are a lot of things that we can talk about today, in addition to my journey to getting to where I am. But my journey as an enlightened one, it's always taking you to where you've reached a path where you've cleared everything that you can clear. But then as you go to the wound of the inner child, there's something else that you touch into that you have to clear. So yesterday there was clearing for the womb, being in the womb. What were the resonance there sometimes that cause you not to flow with ease sometimes? What was the mother feeling? So yesterday we did that and I was able to see some of it, feel some of that resonance. So I feel compelled today to speak about motherhood. What does mother feel when they're pregnant? How do they elaborate that to others? How can we channel our energies better? How can we give grace to mothers more? How can we honor mother more? How can we surrender to mother more? How can we surrender to the divine that is mother? How do we share our gifts as mothers? How do we tell others to be more patient? Mothers need to be patient because it's difficult when you have a small infant, a newborn to look after, their sleepless nights that you have. How do
Mhm.
we channel our energies to support more mothers? How do we ease what is childbirth? Because it should be a natural, easy process. In my own enlightenment, that is part of my process to say, how can we teach more mothers that it should be an easy, gentle process? A lot of those who are doulas, when they have home births, They're coming to the recognition that children are sacred. It is a sacred, sacred time. Childbirth should be private. It should be sacred. It should be done in the sanctity of the divine of water. Water, that is where the living essence flow. So when the mother is in the water and that spinal column is softened, it is easy to give birth in water in a lying position where you keep your head up. So this is what I know from my own enlightenment, because the spinal column can soften, the body softens, it allows everything to flow with ease. So in my own birth, as a divine that I am, you get to witness those things. You get to see the particles of light. You see the fractals of light that got it is fractals of light where a separation can happen to the self, because in the womb there's it is a comforting place, but if the mother doesn't always feel comfortable within herself, the baby that is growing there feels that. So when I was doing the healing yesterday, I was able to focusing on the depth of that is deep, deep wisdom. It is sacred. So I was able to do that in my healing circle both times yesterday. And even today, the inner child is coming out to clear. The resonance of my voice can go up and down because the inner child that is Caroline is still clearing some of the residue of that, of the infant that is Caroline, because my mother died just before I was 2 years old. So in losing the mother, then there's aspect ratio of where the mother was not there. So it's very deep, it's very profound when you become enlightened and you know the pitfalls of growing up without your parents and then becoming enlightened, and then be challenged again to say it is the greatest blessing to become an enlightened one and clear the passage of time for the ancestors, for the lineage that we come from. That is why we're here. It is a natural progression of time for people to become enlightened today. Enlightenment means you reach a pathway where you're able to see the shadows within the plasma light that we are engaged with. The firmament of, as some call it, it is right here. It is not far, it is here. As the light of the soul that we are, there are measurements for us each time we speak. In the plasma light that is there, there's a lot of things in the field that others cannot see that you see when you become enlightened. You're able to see the shadows. You're able to channel yourself to say, shadows are there, but there's so much beauty. There's so much magical things. And when we honor and cherish the mother, we cherish what is divine in the purest essence. We honor and treasure the grandmother in the purest essence that the mother came from. And then there's the great grandmother that can resurface to show you that this is where that egg that you were created with, it came down that lineage. So everything that is sacred about mother, we honor that, we worship that, we allow that to be dignified in the divine. So, in my own humble sacredness that I say, the blessings of you that is a mother, that is a grandmother, I allow you to relish in that. I allow you to treasure the moments with your children and your grandchildren. I allow you to be a blessed mother. I give you all the blessings that your heart can feel. I send you all the love, because ultimately that is what it is. Divine simply means you go back to love. Go back to the blueprint of who we are created to be, because we are created in the blueprint of love. That is what is divine. And a ripple of that is to feel compassion, deep compassion for everyone. Show kindness, have integrity. Kindness as kindness can be. That is a big, rich word, but it's simple way to understand what divine means. As we show kindness to others, we are able to elevate the consciousness of what humanity holds. Step by step, one by one, as people become more aware of who they are. Not just this physical body that is holding us in time and place, but it's a vessel that is throbbing with a heartbeat that is there like Mother Earth, resounding with the purity of the divine, guiding us always to become more wholesome in what we think, in what we do, in what we say. Which each life that we with each life that we touch, Can go back to say that was a phone call, and I don't like when interruptions come. I hope it doesn't affect you
Go ahead.
because I'm using my phone. So thank you very much. So sometimes when that happens, I know that there might be another one. So we'll just do the same thing. Yes, in the essence of who we are composed with light that is structured with sound, and we set intentions so that when we set intentions to have love for everyone, even when there are triggers that take us to anything that doesn't fit what is love, we always go back to love. A lot of people, millions and billions of people, are suffering because they are reaching the path where they're ready for enlightenment, for the soul to connect with the pure essence of divinity. But what is stopping that? Too many systems in societies today that go backward. We are programmed in a matrix. A lot of people are saying that we're programmed in a matrix. On Mother Earth, it is a school. We are here to learn our soul lesson, to engage with the plan of the divine that we came here for. We came here to learn. We came here to teach. We came here to love. Not to say just fluffy words, not for performance, but to know in the integrity of who I am divine because I speak with the voice of divinity. I challenge everyone who can say that it is not easy to flow in the essence of divine. It is sometimes very, very easy. It takes you to bliss, it takes you to ecstasy. But when we flow with the essence of the divine and there are things that we have to clear, there are still ancestral wounds to clear. There are still siblings who still need to understand divinity in its essence. And when we do that and they don't understand, it can affect who we are as individuals. So, in my own pure nature as divine, there is me in the aspect ratio of who I am as I flow with the divine that I am, because we don't see the feel of plasma light that is pure, pure, pure. It is the definition of purity. But within this plasma light, there are shadows that come. Shadows come and we have to clear them. By just moving my hands, I can clear what are shadows. And that is the distinction that I have. By just doing this, I can clear shadows. In a crowd, I can clear shadows like this. So I'm very humble. I'm very gracious. I'm very gracious for this gift that I have, even if it means going backwards sometimes to clear the pathway again. I lay down what I have in this divine nature that I am to say, we all think that we are serving what is God, but God is the brightest light within us. As we go deeper and deeper within, we are able to access what is the Akasha. The Akashic records are there to show us this is why you came. This is your sole purpose. Your purpose as a soul, as an emblem of the divine, is sacred. You came here on a sacred journey to help those that didn't find their way, to come back here and say, I am going to take on that mantle. I'm going to go. I'm going to foster more light. I'm going to help. But who is to say when you start the journey to know that you're going to help that ancestral realm, that your parents are going to be deceased? So when that happens, there is a softening now of grace for children when they don't grow up with parents to say, I will help. As we're here today, we know that there can be many that is helping. I am divine in the essence of time. You're also divine, and there are many gifts that you have. And if you can see in the realm, you know what is happening now. They're projections of softness for us, of grace for us, for us to come back to the heart space, to the space of love. And as we go into stillness, we find peace. As we go into stillness, we find deep, deep stillness. We know peace. We know love. We treasure what is divine. So, in my own healing circles, my gift in divine is simple. I simplify what is divinity. I simplify what is God. I help others to understand it simply means to love yourself for all that you are. to understand your soul purpose. I help people to map what they came to do. We understand that we all have compass that we come in with. Our stargate here, it's divine. That is why we have this chakra here. It is our starlight. It is projecting here. And when we have our soul compass here, it is guiding. It is telling us that you're much, much more than this vessel. You're not just this body. You're so much more than this body. Listen, listen, listen. You're so much more than this body. The light of the soul that you are, it's ignited everywhere. It is brilliant. When we focus only on the body that we have, we forget the parts of us that needs to be healed. When we feel unworthiness, when we feel that we're not good enough, then the abundance that is flowing to us, we cannot tap into it. We have grace to tap into the abundance that is there. And when we flow with bloodlines that did not always have enough, we give thanks always. We give thanks always. We give thanks always. For the lineage that I came from, I give thanks. I give thanks for all those that come daily with me in the healing circles that I have, because we're projecting divinity in a soft and gentle way, in a different way, so that even children can understand, because there's so much work to be done. When we are focusing and unifying and being gracious to what is there, how do we get more people to awaken to the essence of who they are? The essence of who we are is to be a witness, to be a witness, to be a guide, to be a way shower, to be a helper, to be a healer, to be a teacher. In the guidance that I hold, there are many, many things that are going forward now. So as you see me here, there were many, many things that I had to encounter to get here. So when I encounter things to get here, I'll just have some water, please. And we give thanks. We give thanks.
Wonderful, Sapphire. Wonderful.
Yeah. So as we do this, we know that others can call. So I don't want to be separated. So I'm sorry, I should have alerted everyone that would call me for guidance, for counseling, that I'm going to be recording on the phone. So I was saying that as we hold this light, this essence of who we are in its truest position, we encounter things daily. There are triggers that come up, maybe a feeling of frustration, maybe anger, maybe jealousy. How do we clear those shadows? Because those things are thought forms that come to us. When anger stirs within what we are, why is it that there's anger? Where is sudden anger coming from? Why are we feeling triggered by someone or something suddenly? Where does that stem from? It is shadows within our soul essence. Shadows come in many forms. It could be an ancestor who was angry at us at some point in time. So when you have a father who could have been angry at you and it triggers anger again and again, and you don't know why you get angry, you're able to tap into that essence and see where it is, what stirs you to get angry, and you're able to pinpoint it and clear it. So that is my gift. I'm able to get to the root of things like anger. When people are stirred by anger, I'm able to get to the root of it. I can easily feel discontent in someone who is not being aligned with the soul purpose. Yesterday, we did some wonderful healing for feelings of discontent, discontent with the job, where you're going to a job daily and you cannot find your way, where you're working hard, you're giving of your life force daily, but you're not finding your way. There's a lot of discontent in the home as well. So, what is triggering that discontent? What part of your soul journey is triggering discontent? How can you address it with a healer like me? I can easily take you to the source of the discontent and help you to resolve that, dissolve the frequencies from the echo of the sound of my voice, to dissolve what is discontent, to dissolve what is triggering hate in anyone. Why do we feel hate? for another. How is that showing up? Why is anger triggered to hate? How can we loosen the anger that is triggered? How can we justify seeing one as angry? We are mirrors in the divine. In this plasma light that we are, a lot of people are fooled to thinking they go to church and they relinquish everything. But you come back home and you have to deal with who you are, deep within the reservoir of who you are, deep within you. It is the
Mhm.
anchoring light of the divine, and we are flowing, flowing graciously from eons of time to now, flowing with all the ancestors, all the ascended masters, all the elders who lived life before us, who are holding space with integrity. So that is where I am now. How do I get others to understand that we're not just this body? We're much, much more than this body. In the light that I hold, in the frequency that I hold, I'm able to see many things around us now. And I'm able to clear the pathway with the sound of my voice. So that is the gift that I have. It is it is soul mapping. It is helping you to map out areas, triggers, things that trigger you. What in past lifetimes that still trigger you? What in your genetic code is causing you to feel displeasure, displeasure in others, displeasure in yourself? What inside of you cause you to feel disturbed in your mind too often? What is akin to that? Why do you feel disturbed so often? Why do you feel that you have to go back and do over many things? Why is it a form in the mind of the millions and billions of people? I'm not good enough. I'm unworthy. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do that. When we submit to the inner child, we find the answers, because the inner child that lives within us has the compass. You come in with the compass and it gets activated and activated. When you don't pay attention, something gets wrong with your body. You feel pain, you feel confusion. It can lead to depression. So, in my
Mhm.
own journey, there were triggers like that because of what my mother went through. So, when my own mother died so young and went through depression, because postpartum depression was not even a thing at the time she was bearing children, and she bare children at a young age in rapid succession. So there were triggers in her own journey in time where her own essence in her divine was to become an enlightened one. So she had her children and she left early. So those factors are things that the child that becomes enlightened would have to heal. So in my
Mhm.
own journey, I was able to capture those things, clear them for myself and my siblings. It is still an ongoing process. So, in my own gift as a healer, I treasure all my sisters. They don't all understand the journey that I'm on. They choose to surrender more to what is church. Church as a
Mhm.
religion is taking you halfway there, but your inner wounded child cannot heal because church is superficial in the way they teach. It teaches you to look outside of yourself. Spirituality say go within you, go within you, go
Mhm.
within, go within some more. When you're triggered by anything like anger, anything like jealousy, anything like envy, go within the essence of who you are. You will find the answers. That is what I can help to do. Any trigger that is coming up, we can clear it. We can clear it. Any trigger as you listen to my voice, we can clear it. As you look at my face, there might not be everything that is beautiful in a face that has to compose things in the divine that I am. But I'm gracious. I feel like my face is here for a purpose. There are many enlightened masters who get to a point where they say, I surrender this body. I'm going to live in solitude, but I choose to do it with others. I choose to help others on the journey. It's the best practice for me. That is my soul compass. It's the best practice for me to be a healer, to be a counselor, to be an author, to be a wife, to be a mother, to be many things that I can lead and I can teach and I can heal, especially what it means to be a child that grows up without the love of a mother, what it means to grow up Without the love of a father,
It's very hard.
and
But
we give thanks and 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 we give thanks. We give thanks and 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 we give thanks. And we surrender, we surrender, we surrender, we surrender, and we give thanks and we surrender, we give thanks, we give thanks. And we give thanks, we give thanks, and we surrender, we give thanks, we give thanks, and we surrender. So, thank you very much, my dear. Is there any particular question that is coming up as you listen?
well, people will ask, you're a counselor, and how do you combine that with your spirituality? Because you're very spiritual. You are much of a healer, and I'm sorry again, my voice is scratchy. But the the counseling, do you combine that in one-on-one? Do you combine that in a group session? How does that uh,
I do a lot
manifest?
of one on one. Sometimes it's necessary to keep confidentiality
Right,
with
right.
people who need to align more with their gifts. So
Mm-hmm,
as they come to me with whatever is affecting them deeply, we go back to the childhood.
mm-hmm,
We go back to the childhood scar, so I can take them back to a time in childhood when you suffer with this and that. And then I'm able to map different things along the pathway. So this can be a trigger for you. Let us look at this in a different way. How do you feel about this? And then they come to the truth of what is affecting them. And
mm-hmm.
then we clear it with my angelic voice that brings celestial light through healing. So my celestial voice that I have, it brings many, 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 many chords of healing because it is the gift that I hold. In the suffering that I had to go through, my voice is like a stringed instrument. So you can hear the echo of what is celestial light to heal what can be many things for humanity. So I'm very grateful for that.
So, in a way, your voice acts as a person when you speak it, when you intone it, when you sing. It could be also as if you were speaking light language, correct?
Sometimes it comes in light language because the language of light is what the soul is composed of. We
Mm-hmm,
have a body that is light. The light vessel that we have, it is composed of light. So when you speak the language of light, it is gracious to speak the language of light. It is not always easy. So when we go to the language of light, I can tone something now to say ah ta ta ti ta 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 ta. It is good sometimes to speak the language of light. It is good to sing in the language of light to correct pathways, especially for ancestral realm. It is good to sing and bring wisdom through that for those who can speak the language of light. It is effervescent to do that with distinction, to know that when you speak the language of light and I speak the language of light, it is effervescent. It is always good to speak it and clear the pathway while we do it. It is always good to say, I share wisdom in the language of light. But what is it doing for those who are listening to me? Am I helping them? Am I clearing the pathway after I do it? I always clear the pathway. When I vocalize with my voice and I speak, I always, always, always have to clear the pathway. In the innocence of the child that I was, there were many platitudes of time that had to be given grace. Because as a child, as an infant who did not have a mother, there were many forbearance for me to say, when you speak the language of light, the child does not have to understand, but you would know that it is coming through for me to understand at that level. Even the language of light, I understand every tone that comes through in the language of light. So I give that as a victory for us. I say that we speak the language of light for a purpose. The
mm-hmm.
language of light is coming to heal our soul essence. There is a purpose when we sing it to others. There is a purpose when we heal in the language of light. It is sacred. It is blessed. It is a gift. It is divine. So I'm gracious and I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, you went through an awakening moment or ascending moment, lightning moment, which it's not just one moment. It's always layered. It just continues. Um, what were you working? What was your position? What was your title before you started to do this healing?
I was a strategic communication specialist with the United Nations for almost 20 years. Before
Okay.
that, I was a
Mhm.
communication specialist in Guyana. Before that, I was a foreign service officer. So I worked in many fields. I was a foreign service officer. I was a diplomat in my country, Guyana, and I was a diplomat in the United Nations. And I did that for almost 20 years. It means I travel globally. It means I have distinction in time. Because to function as a diplomat with the United Nations, it takes courage to
Mhm.
live in many far flung countries that are torn by war and to be there as someone who is helping the United Nations. It is a gift to evolve from being an orphan to go to the highest distinction in the United Nations as a diplomat.
Mhm.
So I pride myself to say that because I had to endure a lot on my journey here. So that was my journey before I came here. Even as a child, I had to drop out of school, you know. I had to go to night school to get my education. I was fostered with scholarships because of my brilliance, because it is the grace of the divine that brings me here. So when others listen, even if you grow up in poverty, even if things it gets too hard, you can rise above challenges. Know in your heart as you feel the worthiness of your soul, try to do the best that you can. Forgive the errors that you have quickly. Learn from your mistakes because sometimes you have to have three mistakes until you get it right. And when you have one mistake, two mistake, and you get it right, you find the essence of who you are. You get to enlightenment quickly because you clear the ancestral realm after you would have done it twice and you surrender the body to the divine. So that is my gift. That is my sacred gift.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's very interesting that you have been in communications prior to,
Mhm.
which then now helps you use your voice for
Excellent. That is true.
it's fantastic. So, what are your plans for the future? Do you have any, or do you just whatever comes to you?
I take it one day at a time, but my plans is still to have my family,
Mm-hmm.
to bring the miracles of children to life through this sacred vessel that I have, to be a stargate and a portal to show what motherhood could be like as you age and you be gentle with your soul and allow my husband and I to raise children that will be blessings, to continue to use my gift as a healer, to show others that when you surrender and you live a life of integrity, divine grace comes and settles there with you because you flow with love. You flow with your soul purpose because at the essence of who we are love. And when we get back to love often, that is the blueprint for humanity. That is the call of the ages for us to flow with peace and harmony and love. How do we get more people to get to find their true essence, their soul purpose? How do we help to change the trajectory of what is happening today?
Mm,
So many are dying before they become enlightened. It is a natural progression of life to become enlightened. It is not to castigate yourself in wheelchairs. It is not to go in homes for sickly people. Our bodies can rejuvenate excellently as we age if we surrender with integrity. The lineage that you come from can help you to regenerate your essence, your soul purpose. That is my gift. That is the treasure that I am. To heal, to bring many more to understand themselves. So my plan is not to show off and to say I'm going to do this and that, but to trust in the divine grace that is flowing through me, to take it one step at a time, to call forth many to say, come, come, share with me, listen sometimes. I am graceful in my divinity. I am soft and gentle. I am dignified. I am solid in who I am. I know the wholesomeness that I flow with. I flow with integrity. In my soul essence, there is purity. I do not say I'm perfect, but I flow with integrity always.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, tell us a little bit about your books, just so the audience gets a little bit of about them.
Beautiful. Thank you for allowing me to share that. So, my first book is called Walking Away from Pain and Emerging to the Light. It
Hmm.
speaks about my journey to enlightenment. It speaks about how you can become so embodied with the divine and then still have to go through many fractals of pain in the body and then suffer a little bit more as you face the shadows of the ancestral realm. So as I say that, I have to say ah ta 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 ta. I do not say it was easy. I do not say it was easy. It was difficult, but I surrender and I surrender again. When I wrote those books, the first book, Walking Away from Pain and Emerging to the Light, it is sacred. It is the divine flowing through my body, even as I was going through suffering. So the second book is The Essence of Time in Resonance with Mother Earth. That book speaks of the platitude of time that we're living in, the resonance of Mother Earth, how the seasons come and bring forth richness and newness. It speaks about the cosmos, it speaks about the celestial light. It speaks about many things that we come in as gifts on Mother Earth. It holds the sacredness of Mother Earth because we are on planet Earth. It is a living essence, a being. Mother Earth knows it holds us in place in this plasma light that we are. So we say that gently. I wrote a third book that is called It is Time to Realize Light as the Cellular Structure of the Body. As I was writing that, I was understanding that the cells of our body is continuously being upgraded as we walk, as we breathe, the cells are upgrading with the light of who we are, with the essence of our soul. So that book speaks about the divine coding of our body because we are from pure love. That is what divine means. It is simplifying what is divine. Divine means come to the place of love for one and all. So my book that is called It is Time to Realize Light as the Cellular Structure of the Body speaks to the essence of the soul, speaks to my gift of healing, speaks to many things. So if you want to get those books, they're on Amazon. There's another book that I wrote about resentment and the individuated person. Because if you have resentment in your heart and you don't know the source of it and you suffer because of it, then you get to the source of why there was resentment. Millions and millions are suffering with resentment because that is a companionship of what we are facing on earth. We have resentfulness for others. We have resentfulness for others. A lot of the times when there's no need to do that, we get back to love. We get back to love as often as we can. Get back to love. Go back to the frequency of love. Channel love in your being. So I have a book that is called The Real Cause of Suffering, Mental Health Crisis Globally, because millions and millions of people are dying because of mental health crisis, because of so much confusion and frustration, and people are not getting to the root cause of it. And
Hmm.
then I have a small ebook called Introducing Karmic Patterns of the Mind and the Body. So those are the books, and I'm gracious to you for allowing me to speak about my books. They're all found on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. They're on Google Books. You can get a free read. A lot of it is on Google Books. You can read. And feel free to connect with me if you get my book and you want to read. You will connect with the soul essence of who I am. I am flowing with the integrity of the divine. Divine simply means pure intelligence. It is nothing to be afraid of. It is pure intelligence. Because when you become enlightened, you're flowing with what is infinite intelligence in the field of plasmic light that we hold It is infinite. It is moving. It is flowing. It is flowing, continuously flowing. As we move through the realm of the divine, we are able to speak with consciousness that we hold in many fields of consciousness. I'm a channel of this light that I am. I'm a gift in the divine in my service to humanity. And I treasure your gifts, Glenda. I treasure everything that you are because I can speak. I can speak. I know who I am. In my sacred service to the divine, I'm humble. My sacred, sacred service to the divine, I'm humble. I treasure the gifts that I hold. I treasure every soul that I meet. I forgive quickly. I like to laugh often because you laugh about the silliness of what it is to exist in a body and not to know the resonance of your soul. The resonance of your soul is not only this body, it is the light of your being. That is what is divine. That is what is sacred.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oof. Now we're coming close to the end. Is there anything that you haven't covered that you wish to tell the audience?
I know that there are a lot of people who are struggling with depression, with anxiety, with many things that cause them to go backwards. Anxiety, depression is there a lot. A lot of people are suffering with that. When they go to the doctor and the doctor doesn't know what to do, they put them on prescription drugs that takes them far, far back from the essence of their soul. So we need to speak out on some of those pharmaceutical drugs that are killing millions of people. Why are so many people treated? Even children are treated with drugs that are killing our children and our people and our adults. Many things are taking us backwards. Alzheimer's the disease, that is something that is a backward movement of time. When your soul purpose is ready to become elevated and you do not pay attention, this is one of the things. Parkinson disease. It is people who are ready for enlightenment and they don't pay attention to the divine. We have guides, we have ascended masters, we have things here. They are here with us now. So let me slow down. Because when people are not paying attention, the essence of the soul is saying, I had a long time to get to where I am. I'm still learning lessons. So patience is one of my Stargate compass to say, be patient with those who cannot remember who they are because we're on earth for a time that is short. When you become enlightened, what do you have? Everlasting life because the soul joins with the source of from whom we come. What is the soul? It is the essence of time. It is a fractal that we come in as light. Embodied here, as we grow to an adult, we become a microcosm of what the universe can hold in a body. Why are we stifled with that integrity that we should be? Why are we telling ourselves stories that the mind composed for us? As we go backward in time, sometimes the more we go back and look at our suffering, the more we bring stories to feel sorry for ourselves. But we mustn't go back and feel sorry. We must be thankful for each mistake and each level of suffering because it makes the light brighter. It makes your soul rich. It makes your soul pure. So that is the level where I am. That is the infinite wisdom that is flowing through me. There's so much more that I can say, but to compose in an hour, I'm very grateful. I'm very gracious to you. I'm very gracious to you, Glenda. You're doing extremely well.
Oh, thank you.
In my presence, there is peace. In my presence, there is love. In my presence, there is comfort. As you listen to this, allow yourself to become soft and gentle. Allow your soul to feel the resonance of my voice. Allow yourself to come to no conclusions about who I am. Allow yourself that I speak with one accord as the voice of what the divine can allow me to speak with in this channel, in this vessel that I hold. It is sacred. It is nurturing. It is a whisper in time and space. And I thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And I want to thank this moment to say, not only say thank you to you, but thank you to Divine and all of the beings that were here with us. And thank you to the audience for being here. Again, thank you for sharing this every single week and liking it and subscribing to the channel. Caroline, it's been a pleasure as
Thank you
always.
very much,
Thank
Glenda. I
you.
honor your inner goodness. I treasure you. I treasure you as a friend. I
Same
treasure you as someone that I can confide in sometimes. I treasure your gifts as a mother and as a healer and as a channeler of light. Thank you very much. Thank you for the work that you're doing. I give you blessing. I give you love. I give you all the love that your heart can hold now.
thing
Receive it, receive it, receive it, receive it, receive it.
I received.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we give thanks 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 and we give thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you, Caroline. And thank you to
Thank you,
everyone.
Glenda. Okay.
Till next week. See you then. And as always, love you all. Bye.
Bye.